In this video, we'll be seeing how to create subscriptions in Razorpay. First of all, open this documentation URL on your browser and we'll be following this documentation. I'll give the link for this on the description so we can follow this one. So here we'll be using PHP for implementation. You can use any language of your preference. We'll be using PHP in this video. So you can see that we are using the PHP SDK here. So we have to add the PHP library. So you can go to the GitHub page. I'll give the link for this as well on the description. You can refer that. And here you can see we have to add the library using Composer. You can also manually add it by downloading the release, and you can add the razorpay.php to your file, and you can manually add this to your project. So we'll be using Composer. So we have to have Composer installed on your device. So you can go to getcomposer.org and you can download the Composer and do the setup. You also have to have a SAMP or PHP installed. So I'm already having that. You have to install Composer and SAMP. Then you can run this Composer require. So let's copy this command. We can add the library to our project. So let's open the terminal and we can run the Composer require Razorpay. Let's run this one. Okay, so Razorpay is added to our project. Let's see, you can see we are having the vendors folder and we are having a composer.json and composer.log. Inside the vendor folder, we are having a Razorpay added. So let's create a index.php file. Here we can open the PHP tag and we have to add the autoload.php to this file. So we are requiring the vendor/autoload.php to the index.php file. Now we are having Razorpay added to our file. So we can further refer the documentation. Open the documentation page and we can copy this code from here. Let's paste that here. So let me just format the code so it will be much visible for you. We are creating a subscription here. You can see we have to pass the plan ID. And this is an important field. You have to pass this and you have to pass the total count as well. So if you are having, let's say you are having a monthly plan and you have to continue it for one year or 2 years. So a monthly plan for 1 year will be 12. A monthly plan for 2 years, you have to keep it to 24. So hope you understand that part. You have to mention the number of times this payment should happen, this subscription plan should happen. So you can refer the documentation. I will explain that there. So here we are creating the subscription. So we have to create a plan before that. So let's go to the documentation. So for creating a plan, you can see there's an option plans here on the left side. So open that and you can go to create a plan. Okay, create a plan. You can see that here. So create a plan, click that and we can follow this one. So you simply have to call this plan of create, API of plan of create. Okay, so we simply have to call this. So if you scroll down, you can see the request parameters. We have to pass the period, which is important, and you can pass daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly and yearly. You can also pass custom values. Then you have to specify the interval. In the interval, you can specify the if you want to charge per month or maybe in 2 months or in 7 days. For a daily plan, you have to set a minimum as 7 and you can see that, refer the documentation. So you have to set the number here. So if you want to set it per day, per month, you can set that 1 here. And if you want to charge the user per 2 months, you can set the value to be 2. So you have to set the interval 2 if you want to charge the user per 2 months. Okay. So you can do that in the interval section, and in the period, you have to set it if it is a weekly or monthly, quarterly, yearly, etc. So you can set that here and you can specify the number here. Like if you want to charge the user after 2 weeks, you can set 2 here and you can select weekly here. Okay, got it. Hope you got this part. So if you want to charge a user 6 months, after 6 months, okay, or maybe like after 2 months, you have to select monthly here and you have to specify the number 2 or 6 here, okay, in the interval. Hope you understand that part. And you can also specify the item details here. So you have to specify the name, amount, and the currency description, etc. These details are important. So you have to pass the name, amount, and currency. And you can also pass the notes. So if you want to pass any notes, you can pass that here. Now we can check the response parameters. And you can see the response parameters here. Let's check the response JSON so we could understand it better. Okay, so in the response parameter, you can see we will be getting the ID of the plan. And we require that ID. If you check this, you can see we require that plan ID here. So we have to pass that here. Okay, so hope you got that. So we have to get this ID. First, we have to create the plan and you have to pass this ID, get this ID and pass that to the subscription. So we'll be doing that. So let's copy this and we can paste it here. Okay. So let me just format this code. Here we are creating the plan. So we have to get this to a variable. So we can come here and call $plan equal to, and we'll get the plan details in this variable. So we are specifying the item and the name, description, amount, and the currency here. So if you want to specify maybe like 600 rupees, you have to multiply this one with 100, or you can simply add 2 extra zeros. Okay. So now this will be 600. If you're passing 600 here, it will be 6 rupees. Okay. So you can refer the documentation so you will understand this better. Okay. So we are passing the item here and the interval is 1 and the period is weekly. So we'll be charging the user per week. Okay. So after 1 week, it will be charged. Okay. So if you want to charge the user after 2 weeks, so you can set this value to 2 here. Okay. So if you want to charge the user 3 weeks, after 3 weeks, you can set the value 3 here. So hope you understand that. Now, if you go to the top, you can see that here we are getting an error. So you have to import this class. Simply click on this import class and it will add this use statement. I'm using PHP Storm, so I could do it like this. If you are using any other ID, you can simply add this use statement on the top. That's it. And that warning will be gone. Now we have to add the key ID and key secret. So let's create a variable for both. Now we can get this key ID and key secret from the Razorpay dashboard. I have logged into my Razorpay dashboard. This is in test mode. And you can go to account and settings and you can go to API keys. Here we can generate the key ID and key secret. So I already have one. So we'll be regenerating it. Click on regenerate and we can disable the current one and activate the another one. Since I have 2-step verification on, I have to enter the OTP. Enter the OTP and you can click confirm. Now we'll be deactivating the old key immediately and creating a new one. Okay, this is our new key ID and key secret. So you have to keep the key secret somewhere safe. You can download the key details by clicking here. So let's copy the key secret and key ID. You can refer the key ID later on, but the key secret won't be available after this. Okay. Or you have to regenerate it once more. Okay. So let's copy it and we can paste it here. So we have added the key ID and key secret here. So now we can go to the subscriptions, this part. We have to get this to a variable. So let's get it to a variable, $sub equal to, and we are creating the subscriptions here. So earlier we created this plan in order to give this plan ID. So here we can change this to $plan of ID. So here on the create plan documentation, we can see the response here. So you can see ID, we are getting the ID. First item is ID and this is the plan ID. So you can pass that. If you go to the subscription document, we need to pass the ID, plan ID here. So here on the response for the plan, you will be getting the plan ID here and we'll be passing that. So that's how we got this plan of ID. So hope you understand that. And now we are notifying the customer. You can refer the subscription document. On the documentation for creating the subscription, on the bottom, the request parameters, you can see the customer notify option. So if you want Razorpay to handle this notification part, you can set this to 1 and Razorpay will handle it. You can set it to 0 and you can handle that part. Okay. So if you want to remind the customer about the payment, let's say 1 day before or however you want to handle it, you can handle that by your own logic. You can set it to 0 and Razorpay will not do it. If you want Razorpay to send emails or whatever it is, you can set this to 1. And the total count I explained earlier. So number of times you want this to go on, the plan to go on. So here our plan is happening every 3 weeks. Okay, every 3 weeks the user will have to pay, and the total count is 12. That means the customer will pay 12 times. Okay, and it happens every 3 weeks. So hope you understand that. So you can customize the plan accordingly, according to your requirements. You can do that. So now we can check the documentation for the response of the subscription, and we will be getting a link. So in the documentation we can see the response here. So this one is having a subscription ID. So this is the ID of the subscription. You can store that to your database, so it will be useful, and you can store that in order to cancel the subscription or modify all those things. You need this ID, so you can store it along with the user ID, and you can see you will also be getting the plan ID and all these details. So here we can see short URL. So you can simply redirect the user to this short URL and the user can make the payment there. Here we can echo this URL. So echo, and we can call $sub of short URL. So we are getting this from the response that we saw earlier. Okay. So now this code will be creating a plan. So this will create a plan and it will add that plan to the subscription, and we will get the link to make the payment for the subscription. So hope you understand that. So it's a very simple process. Now we can try running it. So I am already having PHP installed. So I could simply run it by clicking on the Chrome. So you can see the link here. Hope it is visible for you. Let me just zoom it for you. Okay. So hope you can see that. So this is the link. This is a short link. You can open it, and this is the subscription screen. So here we can start the subscription. Click on start subscription and the payment options will come. So let's enter an email here. So here you can enter the contact details and the email, phone number and the email, and you can click on proceed and you will get the payment options. So we are getting the card and the UPI option. So you can either make the payment using UPI for subscription, or you can use any cards here. Okay, so this is on test mode. So I am not going to make it. You can either use a test card. You can check that online. So if you want to do this, you can do it like, I think it was 14111 as a test card. So you can use these details. Okay. So it's showing it is not supported. Okay. So you have to refer the documentation. I will give the link for this also on the description, or you can refer on the top. You can see that. So here also you will be getting the numbers that Razorpay is providing for testing purpose. So you can see test card for subscriptions. So you can use this. So this is for a domestic, international, and you can use these card numbers. So let's try this card number and we can enter that number here. Okay, it is showing that this is not supported. So let's try some other card. Okay, let's copy this one and try it. Okay, this one is working. So you can give any expiry which is above the current date. So if you refer the documentation, you can see that any future date, and you can give a random CVV also, and it will work on test mode. So we can give something. So I have entered the test card details, and now we can try clicking on pay. Okay, you can save this card and you can click on pay. You will be getting an OTP. Enter the OTP and you can click on continue. So this is on test mode and you will be getting an option. So you can click on complete on bank page and you will get this option. Okay. So hope you saw that what I did. You can scroll down and you can click on continue on bank page, and you will get an option like this. So you can either click on success and the payment will be success, or you can click on failed and it will be failed. So this is for demo purpose. So let's click on success. So you can see the payment is successful. Okay, the subscription is active, and next due date. See, next due date is 2nd October and 2024. You can see that. So if you check on the calendar, you can see today is 11th. So I'm recording this on September 11th. And let's check after 3 weeks, 1 week, 2 week, and 3 week. The next billing will be on October 2nd. So that's this one. Okay. So hope you understand that. And this will happen 12 times. I guess we set the number to be 12. So it will happen 12 times. So hope you understand that also. And you can also update the payment again if you want to. You can click this update and you can update the payment if you want. So we'll not be doing that. So you can use webhooks to get the update of this payment and update that to your database. So I will explain that at the end section. So now I will be showing how to cancel this subscription. So right now we are having a subscription and it is active. If we want to fetch the current active subscription, we can fetch it like this. So you will get all the subscriptions by simply calling API of subscription of all, and you can pass the options. If you want to know what are the options, you can pass the plan ID or you can pass the from to, and you can specify a count, maybe like 10. You only need 10 subscriptions. You can do that. So you can set all those here. So if you want to fetch all the subscription, you can use this one. So you can use this documentation. And if you want to fetch one particular subscription, I told you to save the subscription ID earlier. So in that case, you can use this. So in this documentation, I'll give the link for this also on the description. You can simply get that documentation links from the Razorpay documentation. You can check the left side and you can navigate here. Okay. Or you can simply directly go to the search and search for this and you'll get it. So here we simply have to specify the subscription ID here. So this is the code you simply have to give. So if you want to, I will give you a demo if you want that. So in order to show the subscription details, we can remove all this code or let's comment this one. So the creation part is complete. So this is for creating a subscription. You simply have to create a plan and then create a subscription and pass the plan here. That's it. And you can redirect the user to this short URL and they can make the payment there. You can use webhooks to get the updates and update that to your database. So now we will be seeing how to fetch the previously created subscription detail. So I am going to remove all this code, this much. So I have removed all the other code. Now here we can paste this one. See, subscription, fetch, and the subscription ID. So the subscription ID, you have to store that to your database, and you also have to store the user ID and you have to fetch it. If you are going to cancel this maybe from the user's profile page, you can fetch the user ID, and based on the user ID you can fetch this subscription from the table, maybe subscription table, table name subscription. You are having the subscription ID and the username. So user ID. So you can fetch this based on the user ID and give the subscription ID here. So in our case, we are going to copy the subscription ID from the Razorpay dashboard. So you can simply go to the Razorpay dashboard and you can navigate to the subscription section. You can see that on the left side. So click on subscriptions and you will get the screen. So you can see we are having one subscription that is active. And if you check, it is created today. So this was the one that we just did. Okay. So you can copy the subscription ID from here. See, you can click on this and the details will be showing here. So we can see the customer is also created here. Hope you remember that we entered. So this will be entered by the customer. In our case, it is entered by the customer. So we entered it after redirecting the user to the payment link. So we entered these details. So a customer is created automatically. And then you can see the plan ID and all. So you can see the plan details and the URL Okay, so now we can see the ID also. Subscription ID is on the top. You can see that. You can copy that from here. So we'll be using this subscription ID and fetching the details. We can replace this variable with the subscription ID. Okay, let's remove this and let's give it properly. You have to remove the spaces and all. Okay, so give the subscription ID like this, and this will return the subscription details. So we can simply echo this one. So this will be a JSON string. So we'll be echoing this one. So let's try running this one. So you can see we are getting an error. So this is not a JSON string. It's an object of a Razorpay class. So if you go to the documentation, let's go to the documentation for canceling, fetching the subscription with ID. You can scroll down and you can see the response here. So this is the response. So this is the success response. You can see we are getting the subscription ID, and you'll be getting the plan details, customer ID, all these details. And you can also see other details like when the charge was made and all these details, and the short URL for the payment and all. So you can see all those details here. So this will be the response. So for now, we can simply fetch the subscription ID, or you can simply fetch anything that you need from this response. So if you want this short URL, you can fetch that also. So we'll be fetching the ID or the short URL. Let's do that. So let's assign this to a variable. And now here we can echo $sub. Maybe we can print the customer ID. So in our case, we are creating a new customer. So it is automatically created. So we can print that customer ID. Maybe you need it for next payments or keeping track of the customer, etc. So you can do that like this one. So if you run this one, so we are getting the customer ID here. So this is the customer ID, and you can use it accordingly. Okay, so hope you understand that. So we are getting the customer ID, plan ID, subscription ID, and all these details. If you are having any offers, you can add that, link that to the subscription. And you can do all those things on the update subscription or while you're creating and all those things. So you will be getting the short URL, etc. So all these details, you are getting it. And now we can check the main part, that is canceling a subscription. Mainly you won't be using this fetch subscription because you will be storing the subscription ID in the database anyways. So you most probably won't be using this. So the main thing is canceling a subscription. So the users will want to cancel the subscription at a point. So maybe, so without a cancel subscription, it is not ideal. So you have to add this cancel subscription option. So for that, you simply have to use this one. It's a very simple code. You simply have to call fetch and give the subscription ID. So I told you before, you have to store the subscription ID. It is very important. So store this ID on your database, and then you can also give options. So if you scroll down, we can see you can specify cancel at cycle end. So you can set this to true or 0. You can set it to 1 or 0. So by default, it will cancel the subscription immediately. Or if you want to cancel the subscription at the end of the billing cycle, you can set it to 1. So that is the options mean. So you can set this one. Here you can see a new thing, that is path parameter. So we are calling this fetch function. See, so that's what we have to pass in the path parameter. That is the ID, subscription ID. So that's the path parameter, which is inside the fetch. And inside the cancel, we are passing the request parameters details. Okay. And in the response, we can see all the response that we get. It is active, status of the subscription, all these details. Let's go to the JSON so we can understand it better. So here, this is the response JSON that we get. So we are getting the ID of the subscription and all these details. And this is the main thing, status cancelled. That means the cancellation was done successfully. And on the failure, you will get this type of an error. So if this request fails, you will get this error status. Okay. So that's it. So hope you understand this one. So we can try canceling this. So let's try that also. It's a very simple call to this function. Let's do that. And we have to change the subscription ID. I am going to give the ID that I just copied earlier. So this is the ID, I guess. Okay, so let's remove the spaces. Okay, and let's hit an enter from here. Options, I am going to set it to 0. So it will be default. And we are going to print the status. So you can check if status equal to cancelled. You can show the user a message, your subscription is cancelled successfully or something like that. Okay, so we are simply printing that status right now. Okay, so right now we are going to cancel the subscription that we just made earlier. Okay, so now we are going to run this one. Okay, we are getting an error here. So you can see that we are passing an array. We are passing an integer instead of an array or string. So let's go and check that. So here inside this cancel option, we can pass this as an array, and inside that we can specify cancel at cycle end, and then we can give the value. Okay, so you have to pass it like this. Okay, so that's it. Now we can try refreshing the page. So you can see the cancelled status. Since we are printing the cancelled status only, we are getting this one. Okay, so that means our subscription currently is cancelled successfully. So let's go to the dashboard. So refresh this page and you can see this active to be cancelled. You can see the subscription is cancelled. And you can see the payment status made. Okay, so hope you understand. And earlier we told about this 12. You can see 1 of 12. That means we have only made 1 payment of the remaining 12 payments. So hope you remember that we set that 12 number earlier while creating the subscription. I will show you once more. That was done somewhere here. Yeah, this total count. Hope you remember that. So that's this one. You can refer this video for creating a webhook. I have explained it in detail. So you simply have to change the event details. If you go to this description, I have given the documentation here. So let's go to the webhook documentation, and here we can see the sample payload. You will be using the subscription since we are doing this for subscription. And on the bottom, you can see the events, webhook events. So authenticated, activated, charged, and this is the main one, charged, and all those details. So you can handle the webhook like this one. Okay, so you can refer this documentation, and this is the response that you will be getting. So subscription authenticated, this is a demo for that event. So hope you understand this one. I have explained how to implement the webhook in detail in this video. So you can watch this and simply have to change the event listener accordingly. You simply have to change the listener, and I will show you. You simply have to change it here. This order paid, you can change it to something else. Okay, that's it. So hope you understand this video. If you have any doubt, leave a comment below and I will respond to them. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel for more such videos.